Joining me today, I'm doing a little more on the Idaho 4 reads. Okay, what I want to look at today is, was anybody else connected to the murders? Were they hits placed on the 4? Were all 4 meant to be taken out? Was there hits placed on them? Was it drug related? Okay, also want to know if there's a couple of other people around that names have been coming up in how they play a part in, and I believe it's Emma and Brent. Wanted to have a look at how they play a part in this, and if they do play a part in this situation. To check in, tomorrow is, or it will be today when I put the reading up, the day of the trial for Bryan Kohberger, the hearing, preliminary hearing. Okay, so just want to check to see how that case is coming together, please. Can we have a result on that, or what are we seeing with that case, please? That's ready to go to hearing tomorrow. Whoops, not too many cards there. Okay, so I'm feeling just the energies of Bryan here at the moment, and I'm feeling he's feeling a little bit deflated. Okay, so here he is locked up. Here is the card of having his cup empty. So his cup's feeling a little empty at the moment. There's regrets going on here. So I feel like there's just the energies around him, and it's also him in a bubble. So he's feeling a little isolated. Perhaps, yeah, there's some kind, he's isolated, he's feeling. So whether that's caused from him not doing it alone, but he's taking the heat for it, taking the blame for it. I feel like there's some kind of sense of being isolated. Maybe he's been in isolation, and as he's been locked up, I don't know. But there's a sense of isolation going on around him, whether that's his energy being, he's the one that's taking all of the blame for it, and there's regrets going on there. So he's feeling regrets in some way. I know when you look at his face, looking at his face, it's like nothing's going on there. He wouldn't regret it. And if he was a sociopath, he wouldn't have regrets. But the regrets may not actually be for the murder. The regrets may be for how it played out, in that he's taking all of the heat, or he got caught. Could be regrets in any ways like that I'm feeling. Sorry, what was that card that came out? Yeah, some kind of regrets going on. So that's just the energy that I'm feeling. It's also saying that it's a big picture. There's so much more going on here, and I've got that in 2 ways. So it's like, it's like the bigger picture, looking at the bigger picture of everything, or as all the big picture of the whole case comes together, that's what's leading him to the feelings of being, his cup's empty, like he's feeling a bit drained from it, or he's feeling he's got nothing, it's empty, he's got nothing. And he's feeling isolated and alone. Because he's in the bubble here himself. So it's like this is him locked up, but he's feeling, whether he could have been in solitary, I don't know. He could have been being kept away from other people, which is a very big possibility, and that could be what's going on there. And in that moment, that's making him feel regrets. Now, the regrets could be for how the big picture played out, how the whole picture played out. So, yeah, and him taking the fall for that. So, and I'm not saying he is a part of it or he's not a part of it. I'm saying the feelings that I'm tapping into is that there's regret around how the big picture played out, and how he's the one that is locked up, and there's some kind of regrets to that situation. I'm not seeing regrets here on the actual crime. I'm seeing regrets to how the big picture played out. Now they're saying there's more out there. So here's the card of being more out there. So there's the bigger picture as this big picture plays out. We're getting more information, or there's more out there. So there's more that's going on in the public. Can we please just have a look at that? What is it that's more? What else are we seeing that's more out there? What is it? New information, or what is it that's more? Please, what are we looking at here? More. Bit more clarification around the more out there. What's going on with this case, please? More out there. What's going on, please? Okay, so there's some kind of loss of something. Something was lost. I don't know if it was evidence that was lost or something was lost. Lost time. I'm seeing the time again. Lost time. And again, because we've got the area of slowing down. So why are we seeing, is it almost like it's lost time? Unorganised. Maybe was the event itself that is unorganised? And also we're talking about loyalties. So more information coming in. This is more information and notes coming in. Okay, so we're seeing more, and I'm going to go deeper and deeper as we go into this. Okay, so we're looking at our loyalties now. So we're looking at Bryan's loyalties. So as this case is coming together and is getting ready to go to an appeal, where he's looking at regrets, he's looking at isolation, some kind of regrets about how the big picture played out, and then there's more to the situation. So when I've asked more to the situation, we've got to know. We've also got someone being very cautious, careful, or calculating. So here I see, like we're seeing, again, this card comes up a lot in this reading. So we've got the 3, and we've got the 1. So we're focused on 1. Our eyes are on 1, but what's going on with these 3 people down here? That could be how this is reading. So it's like someone's calculating or cautious or being cautious about the loyalty. So it's almost like there's some kind of loyalties involved. So somebody either can't speak or about information or evidence that's been brought in, and it's to do with who they're loyal to. So it's because of loyalties. They've got to be careful. They've got to be cautious because of their loyalties. So that could just be saying they need to be caught. People around this case, and more out there, the more that's coming in. Maybe they'd have more come in and they gather more information, but it's only for the loyalties, the people that are being loyal to somebody else, or the loyalties that's going on around here is why there's bringing in this new information is really difficult. So gathering all of this information is difficult because of the loyalties and where the loyalties are. So you're coming back to this card here of the caution card where we're seeing 3. So it's like we're all focused on this one, but there's still 3 things. Where we said more and the card of more, and that's what I'm clarifying here. I feel like this card of being more, we're all focused here, but what's going on with these 3 people down the bottom here? So let's have a look here. So I wanted to have a look at, I believe, Brent Kohberger. So with that knife, apparently was a military knife, and these, I believe, I just want to say in that last spread, something here there came out about the loss of time, and also the other timing card just came out next to it as well. It was like 2 timing cards, slow down, being slow down. So that could be one of 2 things. It could be why there was that big gap of, say, 7 hours before they phoned the police. I don't feel like that's fitting there. Or it could be the time between the 3:45 and the 4:15 between the car and somebody leaving the house, or the cameras picking up these 2 things, that this was playing out. So it's like slowed down in some way. So there's something going on in that particular area. It's like a loss of time. I don't know if that's related to something on the camera, something lost from the cameras. But there's something to do with timing or being lost. So it could be something to do with the cameras, and something to do with slowing down. So it's like why we're... batteries went flat, so I asked about Brent and the knife, if it was his knife, and I got that it was somebody's knife for protection, but it was like that was a very open-ended question, so that wouldn't give me the answers to that being his knife, which I feel like it wasn't. I think the spread that came up before that, when I asked was there a connection between the 2. Okay, let's see. I'll recap that one. What it said was at the connection card, 2 cards fell out, and I put them to the side, and it was there was a connection, and it says 2. There was the 2 wheels, so it was saying there's a connection. So the 2 cases are connected somehow. I don't know if he was involved or if it was something, but I knew they were separate. The two cases are separate, but there's somehow a connection between the two. Now, I also got the card of the in the books, and I mentioned here about it could have been connected through the university somehow, because I got two cards being a room full of books. And then I also noticed that in that card was all about photos. So it was a camera, and it was all about cameras. And then to the side of it was the evidence card. So and also two people working through notes and ideas and notes. They were jotting it down. It's not like they would physically be jotting it down, but it's two people coming up with ideas or information that he had, giving it to another person. Okay, so what I was getting is that I asked if there was a connection between the two cases, and it did say the cards fell out separately. Two went to and I put two to this side, and it was connection. The card was called connection, and then to the side of that there was two balls. So it's either telling me that the two cases are connected, even though one's here and one's there and they're separate, they are connected in a way. There's some kind of connection going on. So over here I also had the card of the universities, which we said that in part 2. I'll skip that bit. Okay, and so what I got out of asking if Brent was involved, I was wondering if he'd either said something to somebody, he came up with ideas with somebody, he was saying something to somebody, giving evidence. Somebody else knew something and was giving evidence, but there was a connection somehow. And I was wondering if the police either took photos, because a card of the photos came out, and evidence. So if they took some kind of photos at the scene of Brent's scene that somehow revealed information about the Idaho 4 scene. So it was something to do with photographic evidence. It was some kind of photographic evidence. So I don't know if it's something the police have taken that are matching the two, or there's some kind of correlation there, or one gives evidence for the other one. But it was something about evidence, the card of either somebody making a statement, somebody coming up with ideas, or somebody saying something, information going out, or against versus the photographic card. So that would be photographic evidence. Okay, let's continue with the reading. Okay, was there a hit out on any of those 4 students, please? What I'm working with here is I've got a soft no. I've got something saying keep it to yourself, which is my card's way of saying don't go there to me. Something about a tower moment, someone taking someone down. Tower moment means someone taking someone down, and somebody keeping something to themselves. I'm not getting this as my soft no today. I'm getting this one being duty, like almost like to me what I'm seeing is somebody, when somebody, like it's almost like the death of somebody, and the sword, like we're talking battle now, it's like bowing their heads for the comrades fallen, the ones fallen, and it's a sense of duty, like there's some kind of sense of duty here, like something somebody had to do, but there's like and they're bowing their heads over their comrades' loss, but it's like that's the feeling that I'm getting, and it's like a sense of duty going on here. So it's like a takedown. There was a takedown involved here. But somebody's keeping something to themselves. So was it to take down on one person alone, or was it somebody knows, like somebody's keeping something to themselves, that information. Okay, something about the car as well, something about the car there. The car, maybe Bryan's car, maybe the other Elantra that was similar looking. So then that brings me back now to Emma, please. We're going to look into Emma, and I'm sorry, but I don't recall the other person, the male person that's often associated with her. Okay, was she involved in the murders, please? Was Emma involved in the murders? Okay. So, here I'm getting the messenger, so she was bringing a message, or she was a messenger delivering, or some kind of delivering message. So something here about either delivering, something to do with the delivery person, perhaps the DoorDash person, because I'm getting here deliverer of message. So either something to do with delivering, either bringing the message, she was sending a message, or because I'm talking about Emma now, but here I'm seeing the time, so between the two times. So something going on between the two times. Exposed. This card's called exposed. And it's shining a light on a dark situation. And evidence on the ground. So there's evidence on the ground. Did she see something? Did she know something? Was she sending the message? But why was it in between the times? So that's why when I'm hearing delivery, I'm wondering if it's something to do with the delivery. So the delivery driver between those two times, exposing something, or... Okay. So that was the first question I had on her. The other question was, please show me where Emma sits in this case, please. Where does Emma sit in this case? Where does Emma sit in the Idaho 4 murders, please? How is she connected to this situation? Well, it's her social, something to do with her social group. Again, we're getting between the two times, so something between those two times. Okay, where does Emma sit in this, in the Idaho 4 case, please? Where does Emma come into this Idaho 4 case? How is she connected? The car. Something about the car again. Okay, this is the dark hat looking in on another person. So it's like looking in on another person. So let me just get a little more information on that one. Messenger again, deliverer of messages. So she's either bringing the message or she was the delivery person between those times. So definitely when we ask on Emma, I get the same two questions over and over again. So it's something between the two times and the deliverer of a message. So she was either delivering or delivering something between those two times related to the car, which would mean driving, so delivery driver. She could have been dropping off anything to that house too, by the way. It may not have just been DoorDash, if that's what it's called, delivery person dropping something off. And it's delivering a message. So, or was she bringing in a message? Was she coming to say something to the people? Here we've got jail on the bottom of the deck. I believe she is in jail right now, so I feel like we are tapping into her energies. Okay. So let's see. Now this card here says suspect motives. It's called suspect motives. Now that puts her as either a suspect or she has motives. She has a motive. There would be a motive why she would be involved in this situation. Here is the card of the social network. So it is her social network. Okay, was she there, please? So this was just asking where she's placed in the Idaho 4 murders. Where is Emma placed in this situation? It's saying that she's somewhere between those two times. So she does fit within those two times. She was either driving past, she was in the car, she was driving somebody around those times. Also, she was either delivering a message, or there's something that she's bringing to the house. She's either delivering something or she's delivering a message, or she's the bringer of a message. Here it's a suspect motive. She's either a suspect or she's got motives behind this situation, and it's her social network, and it is related to a car, and it is related to between the times that the murders were going on. Okay, was she working with Bryan, please? Was Emma and Bryan working together, please? So there's some kind of creative expression going on around here. Let's see. Okay, so again, we've got, this is a uni card. That could be uni, could be more information, evidence, more information. It's a stretch, so, or someone's exposing. So maybe she's exposing him, because we've got the exposure card again. We keep getting that exposure card around her. Or he's exposing her. There's some kind of when you bring these two names together, it's saying something about evidence coming in and it's exposing one of them. One of them is being exposed. Here is the card of, there's two swords, but one has their eyes closed. So it's like one is not seen one person, it's a difficult choice. Maybe it's a difficult choice that's going on around these two. There's a difficult choice there. And there's also creative expression going on around these two. When you put these two names together, it's a creative expression. It's called "That's My Creative Narrative" when someone's lying about a situation. So when you put these two names together, there's some kind of a creative expression going on around there. So this lies to that situation. But somebody seems to be exposing the other one. There's some kind of exposure or information coming in. Okay, my question is, was it related to a... Okay, first I want to know if it's related to a hit or if it's related to an overdose. Please, was it perhaps an overdose that they were trying to cover up? Let's go there first. Was it an overdose that they were trying to cover up, please? Okay, as I was drawing those cards, I saw that yes card going through there so many times that yes card was on the verge of popping out. So there's more to the death. Although there was many people, we know there was many deaths, but there was many people could have been involved because and again, when I read it on the first time, I kept getting many, over and over again, two cards of many or more involved in the death. So either more perpetrators, more people in the house, there was more going on around that death than what is actually out there in the public with this death. Here we've got the messenger card again. Now I think this card, when I read on cases quite a few times, the cards start to get characters or people in the situation or places and attaching themselves to a card. I feel like this is Emma, this card here. This is the card of again, with the delivery person or the person delivering a message. So I feel, and she's come up in the centre of this spread. Death diagonally across from her, recharging for health on one side and more. There was more going on in the situation. Could have been related to Emma. Now, the question I asked was, this death done because there was like an overdose and it was covering that up? What do we have here? We've got the death and saying that it's the big picture. So this is the three of wands, and it's saying there's more to the story. Here it's a matter of timing. So something about the timing going on here, timing. So if it was an overdose and timing, so getting to the person in time or... Okay, but there was more going on. Let's see, what are you trying to tell me here? Okay, it's saying look at it from a slightly different perspective. That's what it's saying. Look at this from a different perspective. Now, the main players that have come out when I've asked about the overdose is Emma in the middle, the death card, that the situation's bigger. It's bigger than what we're playing it out to be, and here there's a lot more involved. There's more going on with this situation, but it's saying look at it at a different perspective. That's why I'm not going to push this particular narrative. So I'm now going to have a look at the two surviving housemates. Please, can you tell me why? Why did they survive this, please? Cards, can you tell me why? Give me some indication as to why the surviving housemates survived, please. Okay, so what it's saying is something about loyalties. Self-development and crossroads are coming up there. So crossroads is the two of one. So it's saying the two of them. Two people again here. Okay, so here is my card of seeking guidance, but it's also my card of seeking evidence or evidence coming in. Here it's saying there's turmoil around the home, and it was sad or disappointing. Sad, separation or disappointment. That's the Three of Cups. So sad, disappointment, so not Three of Cups. The sadness, That's the Three of Swords, by the way. I'm just trying to get this in. Three of Swords is sadness, disappointment, or separation. They were separated from the other one. So that's why was it not them? Because they were separated. They were separate. They were separated. During all that turmoil, they were separated from all that turmoil. There was a lot going on again. We keep getting it over and over again. There was a lot going on. Okay, let me go a little deeper on what was going on. There was rage. This is the rage and intolerance. So there was a lot of rage going on. There was a lack of tolerance. Somebody was not tolerating something else someone was doing. So that's why I'm feeling this was planned, because somebody had done something that made somebody else really angry, and they weren't going to tolerate this situation. So they weren't tolerating it. Okay, so and the surviving two were kept separate. So they were separate. Even though they were surrounded by turmoil and all this chaos was going on around them, they were separate. Now, seeking guidance, seeking information, seeking evidence. So I'm wondering if that's, I know that's the police would be wanting evidence from them, but I'm feeling there's something a little deeper here as well. It's more like information that, help pull this through strong, please. Okay, it's information. I'm seeing two sides. There's two sides here. There's two sides. One of somebody is very naive. They're going into this with very naive. It's like there's two different sides in this situation. One of the people, I believe one of the victims, was very naive in stepping up in this way. So stepping up to this faction. I'm getting like there's two different factions, or two different, again, crossroads. So we're seeing two. There's two different factions, and one person is very naive for either stepping out of line, stepping up to them, something about information, sharing information about them, or incriminating evidence. I'm not sure if I'm hearing that or saying that right. I feel like I'm being pulled between before and after. So it's like, why am I being pulled between before the event and after the event? So is it evidence that somebody has after the event, or is it some kind of information prior to the event that somebody was either sharing, or some kind of information? There was something there that was said, or some kind of information that was shared. But I feel like in a way they're connected before and after the event. I don't know. I'm sorry, that doesn't make sense to me. Okay. It seems to be like a fight between, I'm just trying to make it stronger, like he said, she said is what I'm getting. So it's like a he said, she said kind of thing is what the words that I'm hearing is what's causing this, is something about what somebody has said. It's like, now I don't know if that's true. When you say he said, she said, to me kind of sounds like, do you take that as face value? Can you trust what's being said? Again, it's information. So I feel like whatever it is that was said prior to the event, somebody knows. Whatever information has been said prior, and I think that's the connection between the two, why they're pulling me between the two. For somehow, there's information that was said, he said, she said, is what they're telling me. He said, she said, information prior to the event, somebody knows that information. Somebody knows that information. So I don't know if anyone knows that person knows. I think that's why somebody was spared, because it was a matter of who knew what or who said what. But I feel like they don't think this person knew what. And I'm not sure even what that relates to, but that's what I'm hearing. Okay, one more question. Was it drug related, please? Was this murder drug related, please? Very similar cards out all the time when I'm starting to read on this now. Every time, actually. Every time. So they're starting to paint a very clear picture. Even though I don't know what's going on, the cards seem to be saying the same things over and over again. Okay, so when I've asked if it's drug related, okay, it is saying it's all about loyalties. So there's some kind of loyalties, someone's loyalty to another person. It's about somebody keeping information to themselves. Somebody either has information, somebody exposing somebody, so exposing something about somebody else. Somebody has information, keeping it to themselves, or they should have kept it to themselves. But it's saying it got exposed. Information got exposed about somebody. It exposed them. I feel like it's about loyalties, about who should have been loyal to somebody or they weren't. They weren't loyal when they should have been loyal. So loyalties keep coming up. Again, we're seeing two factions. I'm seeing the truth. This is truth and justice, but I'm seeing it as two factions. So it's like a not warring, but almost like the he said, she said, like the fighting. There was like fighting going on, in-house fighting or something. Evidence, and again, it seems to be about some kind of evidence or crucial information or something that was crucial, like exposing somebody. It was information somebody said that exposed somebody. I don't think it was related to this case. Could have been related to something else. Somebody was saying something about somebody else that was going to get them exposed for doing something wrong. And it was like, because I'm getting evidence, it was like evidence being exposed. And the question I said, was it drug related? Here we're getting the same thing. We're looking at the suspects, the suspect motives, and we're looking at who was looking in at somebody else. So it's like somebody saw something. Again, I get this card every time. So it's like somebody who saw what? Somebody saw something. Somebody saw what was going on. Okay, they saw what was going on. They maybe should have kept that to themselves, but they exposed that information to somebody. And I feel like in the first reading I did, it was like someone had regrets. They had said something to somebody and they regretted saying it to them because they didn't know how that information was going to get used. So they'd said something to somebody but they innocently didn't know what was the result of them saying that was going to be. It's like they had regrets in that area because they didn't know how that person was going to use that information or what that information meant to the maybe the two of the housemates. So it kind of it was incriminating evidence. It was something that hurt the safety of two of those housemates. So somebody. It could have been one of those housemates, actually. Let me just pull in a stronger energy here. Was it one of the people, one of the victims that was one of the ones that said something? Okay, I think it was somebody saw something or knew something and they exposed them. They exposed somebody, but it was innocently. It was almost because keep getting the naive card. So it was like naively exposed that information when they shouldn't have. They should have kept that information to themselves, but they didn't. Here is about this is called resilience. It's a 9 of Swords, but what I'm reading from the 9 of Swords is I think that was like the death blow. So to me, in the death blow, and I feel like because I've asked it on drugs, it could be drug related, because I asked, was it about drugs? And now I'm getting the questions of something was exposed, somebody saw something, they exposed something or said something that they shouldn't have. They regretted saying it because they didn't know what was going to be done with that information. They didn't know innocently, naively, I should say, didn't know how that information was going to be used against them, or by saying that information to other people, what that was incriminating to somebody, so that put them in a very unsafe position. So that's kind of what I'm getting here. So it was something about evidence that was exposed, or information or something that was seen that was exposed, and it seems to be there's two factions. There's two sides to it though, and it's all about loyalty. So somebody that was loyal to somebody or should have been loyal to somebody was not. They were not loyal to that person when they should have been. Okay, so I think that's enough for this one for today. Thank you for joining me.